After a moment like this, only President Biden can tell us what needs to happen next or can show us. And I think a lot of this surmising out loud, whether he should or shouldn't, is kind of useless. I know we're in a time crunch, but this needs a week or two so everyone can see what they need to see.
Well, Morning Joe co-host Mika Brzezinski continues to insist that everyone calling on President Joe Biden to drop out of the presidential race should just settle down. You guys are all just being super hysterical, okay? Yeah, democracy's on the line, and people like Mika have been fear-mongering about that incessantly for months on end. And she's also simultaneously promoting the most vulnerable person to run up against Donald Trump in the general election. I mean, the copium on MSNBC was already ridiculous, but when it comes to Mika Brzezinski, she really takes it to another level. And I really do think it's due to the close, cozy relationship that her family has with the Bidens. That's really what this is all about. I mean, it is amazing how far these Democratic operatives and liberals will go in order to protect anyone who's part of their cocktail parties. Now, let's start off with what the reality is when it comes to other hosts, okay? So to be clear, you have Chuck Todd and Jake Tapper. I have my issues with them, but they've openly questioned Biden's mental fitness. And that's only in the aftermath of the debate, which I was definitely salty about because we've been concerned about that forever. And it's precisely people like Jake Tapper who have run cover for Biden up until this moment. But let's watch what Mika Brzezinski had to say the morning after the debate.
President Biden let every fastball hanging out over the plate go right by for a strike for Donald Trump. So that was an indication that he was just not up to it. Last night.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on a second. That I agree with everything you said, except for the last part of it. Everybody calm down, and I'll tell you why. I mean, it's fine to not spin what happened last night, and we're not going to. Again,
by the way,
he had
Mika,
a terrible night.
Mika, everybody's calm here.
No,
you're the only one raising your voice.
No,
Everybody is calm here.
But again, it's the let's just immediately pull this. Let's end this. Let's find someone else.
Listen, while I actually, for once, agree with Joe Scarborough on this specific issue regarding Joe Biden, I don't like the way he talked to her on camera. That was not okay. My husband did that, we'd have some problems. But he wouldn't do that. He's a smarter man than that. Now, Brzezinski continued to defend Joe Biden, though, and she did so this morning. Specifically, she parroted Biden's, in my opinion, embarrassing excuse that he was still jet lagged on the night of the debate. Now, keep in mind that he hadn't just been traveling. He had been at Camp David debate prepping, and he had been home for 11 days. I get it, jet lag is bad, but you're gonna blame it on jet lag? Okay. Mika also took no issue with reports that, Hunter Biden is advising Joe Biden and essentially giving him advice on how he should stay in the race.
There's a lot of criticism now that he's saying it was jet lag. I brought this up earlier. It was flying across 12 time zones when your son was convicted on felony counts that wouldn't bring any others to court, but your son is convicted. So that emotional trauma happening while he's abroad. So yes, Hunter's staying close with his dad right now, showing he's okay, showing they're okay. I don't see any problem with that. And again, compare all of that to the alternative who moved his family in to work in the administration.
Thanks for watching. Our audience has helped build TYT into the media giant it is today. Together, we can accomplish anything. Support our work and join us at tyt.com/team. I need to understand something. Is President of the United States the leader of a superpower? A global superpower, is that an important job? Is that a serious job? Am I really supposed to buy that Biden's terrible debate performance was simply a case of jet lag? Because 11 days prior, he had been traveling, 11 days prior. Am I supposed to take solace of the fact that A guy who got convicted for buying a gun when he was addicted to crack cocaine is now the person advising the president of the United States on whether or not he should remain in this race. While, by the way, simultaneously, the only campaign platform that we've seen from Democrats is endless fear-mongering about Donald Trump and the threat to democracy he poses. So you're gonna tell me that a guy who can't handle jet lag after traveling 11 days ago, you're gonna tell me that guy is gonna protect this country and compete against Donald Trump in order to protect it from the destruction of democracy? I can't believe Mika Brzezinski is going on air and embarrassing herself, humiliating herself like this on a regular basis. But she is, it's amazing. And then, of course, she leans into the same ridiculous, tired argument about Trump bad, which, yeah, Trump bad, which is why you'd want him to lose, right? You'd want the most competitive Democrat to run against him, right? Let's take a look at what she has to say.
It just feels like, number one, people need to slow down. This is a very delicate situation, and there are fair questions out there. But the noise and the move to move him out when we hadn't had a chance to really recoup and see whether this was episodic or not, and also the lack of balance at the alternative, at looking at the alternative, where there may be 1,000 reasons why an editorial board would have said that Donald Trump should step out of the race, and yet that just never happens.
She's really going to try to convince us that what happened on that debate stage was a one-off, that Biden just had a bad night. I'm sure she wants to believe that. I find it hard to believe that she's bought her own lies, but what I will say is that I'm personally tired of being insulted by Democratic lawmakers and Democratic operatives. And that's what Mika Brzezinski really is. Okay, you're gonna try to tell me that Joe Biden, an 81-year-old who has had multiple episodes in public that made it clear that he has cognitive decline issues, you're gonna tell me that no, it's not a problem at all? Well, maybe Mika Brzezinski hasn't seen what we've all seen. Maybe she's totally oblivious, or maybe she's lying to you. Watch this compilation and you tell me what you think.
Making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID. Excuse me, with dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if we finally beat Medicare, and I'm going to continue to move until we get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either. Look,
what I did, for example, he wants to get rid of the ability of Medicare for us to be able to negotiate drug prices with the big pharma companies, dealing with the segregation that exists among these corporations that collude to keep people out of their houses. I made sure every company in the world, every pharmaceutical company, cannot have to pay.
Thank you.
And by the way,
so every day.
Listen, guys, this isn't just about a Democratic candidate's ability to beat Donald Trump. It ain't simply about that. What Mika Brzezinski is advocating for is not simply that Biden, who is incredibly vulnerable and will very likely lose the election to Donald Trump. It's not that she's just simply asking him to stay in the race. And by the way, like mocking people who are asking otherwise. She is advocating for Joe Biden to continue leading this country for another 4 years if he somehow miraculously ekes out a win. Okay, let that sink in for a second. Think about how delusional, irresponsible, and crazy that is. Are people not concerned that he's literally running the country right now? I'm definitely concerned about that. But okay, I mean, as this term comes to a close, can we at least get someone who's not experiencing cognitive decline to run the country? Do Democrats have no other candidate to run up against Donald Trump? Of course they do. Of course they do. What this whole incident has, I think, proven to Democratic voters, including the most hardcore, lifelong Democrats in this country, is that the power grab isn't simply a Republican thing. And it hasn't been simply a Republican thing for a long, long time. You have people within the Democratic Party, in liberal media, essentially putting a party before the American people, but more importantly, putting specific figures within that party before the American people and the future of this country. What that communicates to voters is that these people don't care about you. They care about themselves. They care about all of their buddies in their little cocktail circle. They care about maintaining power. And that's it. That's it. Every time I hear a Democrat who's providing cover for Joe Biden claim that, democracy's on the line, I can't help but roll my eyes because they simply do not believe that. You cannot continue promoting Joe Biden in this race and genuinely believe that democracy is on the line because Biden will lose to Trump. Finally, an anonymous House Democrat told the White House, I don't know who's making the decisions. Why the hell isn't Biden on the phone with congressional leadership? Everybody now thinks he could cost us the majority, and he will if he remains in the race. And now we have finally a second Democratic lawmaker who was willing to go on the record and call for Biden to step down. And that's Representative Raul Grijalva. He's in the state of Arizona, and he's served in Congress for more than 2 decades, since 2003. He says, if Biden's the candidate, I'm going to support him, but I think that this is an opportunity to look elsewhere. What he needs to do is shoulder the responsibility for keeping that seat, and part of that responsibility is to get out of the race. Who knows if he's gonna listen? I guess we're gonna have to wait and see.